All right, it's Wednesday, May 21st, just following up on the SPY. You can see here after moving down big and pausing, it's now making a secondary push to the lows of the day, which I thought was high probability would happen. We still have to see with about an hour in trading where this really closes the day. We'll find out. But for now, those options are moving up nicely. I bought the 595 puts here at 973. They're asking 1113. So all kinds of ways as we get like, a 0.50 higher here to do, they're up to 1122, to have no risk at this point if it doesn't want to follow through much further from here. We're going to see. It all depends now how this day closes. Obviously, we broke down a little bit. This first push down, since it didn't immediately bounce from a first target down here, you expected it to move lower. Now we want to see, as the weekly chart has a potential 3-week to the outside into this gap, if that unfolds. A lot will depend on how this day closes. What it's actually setting up is even though it's heading lower, an actual signal back to the upside, the 3, 1, 2 down, 2 up rev strat. So if we get a 2 up tomorrow in some form, if we somehow get above the midpoint of this day tomorrow and head higher, that's a buy signal for sure. This inside day today wasn't anything, in terms of an actual signal. We were hoping early on it might, fail to the downside and move up, but instead there was a pretty big reversal, which was pretty clear, to expect at least a little lower prices. Then this thing, to me, this pause was a high probability to take out the low of this day here, but we're still not done yet with an hour to go in trading. I'm just showing that as it unfolds, we got to go bar by bar here and really see how this closes. If we stay strongly red, it becomes a good reference point going to the rest of the week, because now, as long as we stay below the midpoint of this bar and head lower, that's below the open of the week as well, and we could be heading into this gap. But now if we can start above this midpoint and head higher, that's a clear buy signal. So the parameters are pretty clear going forward for the rest of the week, depending how this bar closes. So keep that in mind. We're taking this out right here. It doesn't mean it has to follow through strongly to the downside after 2 pushes down. It might, and that's what we're going to find out in the last hour. But either way, you can treat this trade here at no risk. If if you bought puts here expecting this little push lower, which is developed, but we still have an hour going trading. So I just wanted to point that out. We'll go bar by bar and see what unfolds, and then we'll see really what happens tomorrow more than anything else, because that sets up an actionable signal to the upside if things fail down here. And if it stays red, then you almost expect it to head lower and have a 3-week where we took out the high the previous week and can work to the lows of the previous week, with a couple of days to go into this gap. So that's the reference points going forward. Just wanted to follow up on the SPY as it's unfolding today, Wednesday, May 21st.